Each year, the team at the Centre for Forest Value hits the road to showcase their research. It's the latest research supporting innovation in the forest industry across the landscape and across the entire supply chain, from germplasm to commercial buildings. The research is presented to various stakeholders as the roadshow visits field sites and industry facilities across Tasmania.
The roadshow takes the students to the industry partner sites for the students to be able to engage with the partners on site, be able to explain the research that they're doing, for the industry partners to be able to ask questions about the research, to be able to discuss future research ideas with the students.
The projects being presented are the work of PhD candidates and postdoctoral fellows from the Australian Research Council Industrial Transformation Training Centre for Forest Value. The $14 million centre is based in the College of Science and Engineering at the University of Tasmania. The centre is funded by the Australian Research Council and 8 industry partners: Foraco, Greening Australia, SFM Forest Products, Sustainable Timber Tasmania, Neville Smith Forest Products, Forest and Wood Products Australia, Private Forests Tasmania and the Forest Practices Authority. The University of Tasmania has a strong history in forestry research going back 25 years.
Some of the big changes I've seen revolve around consideration of the whole of the value chain. Instead of just working on trying to produce bigger trees and stopping there, we're now looking at how that wood can be used, how it can be manufactured into solid wood products, how we can use the fibre for other functions.
Over the last few years, it's become really apparent that we needed to broaden the context of the research we're doing in that space and think more about forestry occurring in a broader land management context. So we take in not only production forestry but conservation forest management and forest restoration.
In 3 short years, the centre has achieved a great deal, not only by setting up cutting-edge research projects, but by attracting a high standard of postdoctoral fellows and PhD candidates who work closely with industry to develop those projects.
We have a terrific suite of PhD students and postdocs, and their projects are progressing really well. They are really well embedded with our partners.
The research program is currently structured into 3 themes that span the forest products supply chain. Theme 1 covers sustainable forest production and certification. Theme 2 is concerned with products and manufacturing, while Theme 3 focuses on supply chain integration and information management. Rose Brinkoff is one of the students whose research project comes under the Theme 1 umbrella.
My PhD project is looking at the determinants of optimal leaf area in eucalypt plantations. In the forestry context, it's really important to understand the relationship between optimal leaf area, plant productivity and fertiliser, because it'll help us make better decisions regarding fertiliser application suited locally to climatic conditions.
The project is jointly supervised by Professor Mark Hunt and Professor Mark Hovenden. Professor Hovenden is a plant ecologist and one of a number of researchers affiliated with the Centre for Forest Value.
I came from a pure science background with no applied knowledge at all, but I've become much more interested in the application of our pure understanding by being exposed to people like Mark Neeland with a very strong forestry background and Dean Williams, who sees it from a production point of view.
On a farm in Tasmania's Northern Midlands, another form of collaboration is taking place. Landholder Andrew Colvin has opened up his property to PhD candidate Zara Murray.
I really enjoy working with people from the university because they bring a completely new aspect to the property and a lot of knowledge that I don't have.
Zara is using an environmental economics framework known as natural capital accounting to build a business case for putting trees on farms.
So natural capital accounting is all about looking at a natural asset, trying to figure out what services that asset provides, and then further from that, what benefits do we as humans derive from those services.
The partnership has been incredibly valuable because we've been able to tap into the research role, particularly with a forestry focus that the centre has.
A number of the students work together across the centre's themes, as is the case for Villiers Gendvillis and Michelle Balasso. Villiers is examining how silviculture influences timber properties as part of Theme 1. He's using non-destructive wood testing on plantation forests. The testing determines the density of each tree.
Density is one of the main components in defining the wood quality, and the wood quality is defined by the grade. So if density is larger, the price is larger for that particular tree.
Non-destructive wood testing is a method also being utilised by Michelle Balasso, whose research project is part of Theme 2.
I don't have to damage the trees, and I can understand the quality while they are still standing or while they are cut at the log level before they go to the products, which could be veneers or sawboards.
Her research project is one of several that has support from Tasmania's largest private forestry management company, Foraco.
Trying to better understand the resource in terms of a standing tree and trying to make better assessments around what that tree might be best used for. So is it wood chip, or is it suitable for a saw log, or is it going to be suitable as a peeler log or some other use down the track. But making an assessment of that at the point of harvest means that we don't have to transport logs to the wrong destination.
State government business enterprise Sustainable Timber Tasmania also provides resources to a number of postdoctoral fellows and PhD students, including Villiers and Michelle.
We have this really good relationship where we have a lot of resources that the students can use, and they bring to it the intellectual capacity that we don't have internally.
New and innovative technologies feature in a number of the students' research projects. The use of drones or unmanned aerial vehicles is a key feature of the research being undertaken in Theme 1 by Niccolo Cameretta. The drones are being used to help measure and assess structural complexity in restoration plantings in Tasmania's Midlands.
We borrowed techniques of remote sensing from forestry, and we just applied them here in this restoration context.
While Niccolo is using drones to collect data above the forest canopy, Theme 3 student Sean Krasansky is developing a system to use UAVs for below canopy laser.
They were originally developed for flying underground in mines, where it was too unsafe to send humans due to risk of collapse.
Each drone is 3D printed.
If we crash, we can very easily replace parts. We can also make changes in a few hours and print out parts in the same day.
The focus for PhD student Mihai Ngowi is on the export terminal at the Burnie port.
We're looking at a terminal appointment system, which is essentially an app for the drivers, for the port and for the stakeholders to manage the arrivals of trucks.
It's a really important project for effectively the industry because working collaboratively means that we can examine the whole supply chain to further improve the throughput through this facility.
The export of wood chips for paper manufacturing is one use of forest residue that arises from harvesting timber for structural and architectural purposes. Another potential use is in the production of heat and energy, biomass. Hee-Sung Woo is investigating the availability, quality and feasibility of using eucalypt residue for biomass. He's collecting data from sensors embedded in harvesting machines.
We can get actual data from the harvesting site for DBH and length of the timber and the location of each individual stump. So if we can get a accurate kind of that database, we can estimate very higher accuracy level of the biomass availability.
The 5-day roadshow is not only an opportunity for industry to be brought up to speed on the latest research, but also allows the students to share their work with each other.
We are producing independent researchers, people who are competent, who understand the sector, who understand their own field of research, and they have the confidence to work with industry, they have the confidence to work with government, they understand how to interact with and collaborate with a whole range of stakeholders, and they build relationships that they can take beyond the research and training in the centre to their careers beyond.